Good morning and welcome to another BookTube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. I can't say this is a Friday reading vlog because it's not a Friday. And although there'll be reading vlog stuff going on in here, the plan for today, Thursday the 16th of May, no work, is to do two things. The first thing is to watch the first 4 episodes of season 3 of Bridgerton. Didn't watch season 2, but very here for Nicola Coughlan as a beautiful, chubby love interest getting her a sexy man for this season. So we're going to watch the first 4 episodes of that, and I'm also going to read these 5 books, which are the Heartstopper series, which is very exciting. I recently got sent Heartstopper. I'll get them all down. Heartstopper. There's what, number 2. That's from the library. That's number 3. I borrowed that from someone at choir. That's number 4. That's from the library. Come here to me. And that's number 5. I was sent that from Books in My Bag because it is shortlisted for the children's book award. So yeah, so I thought today what I would do, because there's 5 of those, 4 episodes, so I thought I would alternate between reading a volume of Heartstopper, watching an episode of Bridgerton, reading a volume of Heartstopper, watching an episode of Bridgerton, just all day. And to be honest, it's the perfect day for it. I'm on my period, so I'm feeling a bit groggy. I've also got a bit of a cold, which I'm also feeling a bit groggy. Hoping this clears up. I'm going on a choir holiday tomorrow, so I want to be better. It's raining outside. I've got a candle on. I'm gonna read a volume now in bed. Then I think I'll watch an episode. Then I think I'll read another volume maybe while I'm having breakfast. Then I'll watch another episode. Then I think I'll have a daytime bath. Then I'll get ready in some sort of clothes for the day. I haven't even got to cook dinner tonight because my mum is cooking dinner for David and I. I think it's going to be a perfect day. And I wondered if you wanted to come along for the ride. So yeah, no questions at the top of this video like an ordinary Friday reading vlog. But simply just Heartstopper and Bridgerton. Love, let's say. Netflix fueled love. Anyway, should we get on with the first? No, I mean, I'm going to read 5 books today, guys. 5 books. 5. Should we get on with the first one? Which I've read this a number of times. I've read 1, 2 and 3. I've read 1 probably about 6 times. I've read 2 and 3 once, and I've never read 4 and 5. And I've also watched the TV series. TV series is based, series 1 is based on this. Series 2 is based on 2 and 3. And I think series 3 and 4 is going to be based on 4 and 5 maybe. And then there's a 6th one coming out later on this year. But I'll be well able to read that because I'll be really up to date. Anyway, I'm really excited. Let's start with January. I've just finished the first one and it is just as lovely as I remember. It runs right up until the point of Nick and Charlie's first kiss, which is just lovely. And then I went back and watched the first kiss on Netflix, on YouTube. And yeah, what I think I love so much about that series is how they've literally pulled it from here into the series, and it just looks great. And yeah, it's just a beautiful, beautiful moment. And Alice Oseman has just captured that awkwardness of being a teenager and fancying someone, and then added the extra layer of fancying someone who you didn't expect to fancy because you thought you were straight, and that sort of like, well, gay panic he describes it as, doesn't he? He's in a gay crisis. I think that comes up in book 2, but yeah, it was lovely. It was so nice. So I think now I'm going to go and watch the first episode of Bridgerton, which will be lovely and exciting. What a day. I feel so relaxed. It's nice. The first episode of Bridgerton has been watched beneath a blanket and I very much enjoyed it. There will be spoilers for both Bridgerton and Heartstopper in this, so don't watch until you've done both of them, if you're interested. I'd missed, so series 2, I knew that Anthony and Kate got together, and I knew that that was the focus of the series. I saw for episode 1 of series 2. I also haven't watched Queen Charlotte, so I don't know about that either. I've watched season 1 of Bridgerton. I remember watching it. It came out on Christmas Day, didn't it, during lockdown, and I remember being so excited to watch it during that. I think I watched it like Boxing Day. Me and David watched the whole thing. And I knew this series was about Penelope and Colin. Now, I have read the first book of Bridgerton, and at the end of that first book, I read it on my e-reader. They had a little bonus story, which was about Penelope and Colin being together and having children. So I knew that that would happen. But I've missed a few details, like why Penelope and Eloise weren't speaking. And it turns out it's because Eloise knows that Penelope is Lady Whistledown. And the episode 1 has just ended with Colin, I keep going to call him Luke because his name in real life is Luke, Colin, saying if he ever finds out who Lady Whistledown is, she will bear the end of his wrath, and etc, etc. So, but at the same time, he seemingly has developed, well, he's realised how much Penelope means to him, and then also she's had a bit of an image change, and he's a bit sort of taken by that as well. But yeah, I thought it was a great first episode. I'm going to go and make some scrambled egg on toast and a cup of tea now. And then I'll read Heartstopper Volume 2. And then I'll watch another episode. And then I think I'll get in the bar. I've pulled the blind because the winter cleaner's here and he doesn't need to sit and watch me eat my scrambled egg on one slice of toast. There was only one bread left and a cup of tea. When I read Heartstopper Volume 2, this is one I got out from the library. It's a lovely edition. I didn't realise it was hardback when I got it, but like this sort of foil, I imagine if you're into the series, collecting these would be lovely. But always prefer to be honest, this is part of the reason I've decided to have my breakfast first before I get in the bath, because that means when I go in the bath, the one I'll be reading in the bath will be paperback. I'm not a big hardback in the bath person. But anyway, we're launching into Volume 2. It's post-kiss. Let's see how we get on. I keep saying it, but I'm having such a lovely day. My voice isn't recovering though, is it? Right, onwards. I got back in bed to finish Volume 2, and I remember crying when I finished it before. So it's just a really nice scene of Nick telling his mum that he's bisexual. And she's just lovely about it. And yeah, it's really lovely and warm and nice. It's just so lovely. But yeah, and it also ends with that scene that I also remember from the TV show where they're at the beach. And I actually bought a t-shirt because I really like the t-shirt that Nick was wearing. He's wearing a bright yellow Adidas t-shirt with the stripes, white stripes and a white thing. I couldn't get that one, but I've got the bright yellow with the thing. I might even wear that today in honour of him. I think I'm gonna. I'm gonna dress like Nick Nelson today. Yeah, it was lovely. It was so nice. There's some bonus material that I'm just gonna sit and read, and it's about Darcy and Tara, and we're also introduced to. We saw Teo in the first volume, but we're also introduced to Elle and Alid, who I think is called Isaac in the programme. But yeah, this is lovely. I love the bonus material they have in the back here. It sort of talks through like sort of clothes choices, and you get introduced to a few more characters, and yeah, it's really nice. I'm just going to sit and read that. And then back to the sofa for the second episode of Bridgerton. I've got candles on. It feels nice and relaxing and lovely. And it's not even 11 o'clock yet. Me and Dap Dap just about to watch episode 2 of Bridgerton, aren't we? Maybe you don't need that much screen on you, Daphne. There's somebody in this programme called Daphne. She's not actually appearing in this series, but the first series was much more about her and the Duke getting together. Also, their sex scenes, the Duke and Daphne's sex scenes, were a lot more compared to the sex scenes you see in here. Are you interested? No, not at all. So, let's go straight into episode 2 then. I like the way they've redone the Netflix N, especially for Bridgerton. which is lovely. But yeah, onto it. Onto it. Long time to get into the titles. Episode 2 of Bridgerton complete. Now, like I said, there'd be spoilers. I was sort of hoping that we'd just sort of see Colin fall for Penelope from the start, but the second episode has just ended on her asking him to kiss her because she's concerned that she'll never be kissed, and her sort of being a bit, please, and then after a sort of insipid kiss, she sort of says thank you and dashes off. So it's not the pash fest I was quite hoping for yet. There's 2 more episodes to watch before the middle, and I imagine it's like the 4th episode is going to end on like a big thing. But we've got a kiss second episode, which is pretty good. But now, another cup of tea, get in the bath, daytime bath, and read the 3rd volume of Heartstopper, and then after the 3rd volume of Heartstopper, I'm on to whole new Heartstopper territory because I haven't read volume 4 or 5, and they haven't made a TV show of 4 or 5 either, so I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, into the bath, into some clothes. I've got a little bit of baking to do this afternoon because I want to take some cakes away with me and Laura tomorrow, and I'm going to my mum and dad's for dinner tonight, so I'll take some cakes around there. They're marzipan and lemon though, so I don't know how much. My cousin Laura and I very much like marzipan. I think my mum does as well, but David, no, and I don't think my dad does either. Anyway, now come at you, bathed and dressed as Nick Nelson. So yeah, this is the t-shirt I was talking about. I got this secondhand on Depop. I couldn't find any other ones. His one is this yellow but with white stripes. This is also massive, but yeah, it's very 90s. This is like what all the boys wore to school when I was in primary school, and also it feels mad now that we weren't all wearing school uniform. I was wearing school uniform, but a lot of the lads would go to school in football t-shirts and things like this. Anyway, I just finished Heartstopper Volume 3 in the bath. It was lovely, both the bath and the book. So this one focuses mainly on a school trip that everybody, Nick, Charlie and all their pals, are going to Paris. And I think it really well captures the sort of freedom and wildness you feel when you're on a school trip, particularly like a residential school trip, when you maybe have a little party in the evening or nip to a boys' room when you shouldn't be there. And there's a lot of focus at the meeting, like no boys and girls will be sharing because we don't think it's suitable couple sharing, when the focus of this book is that we're following a gay couple. Well, yeah, Charlie's gay and Nick is bisexual, and then there's also another gay couple in here, Tara and Darcy, who are also sharing a room. But yeah, so it also touches upon some more serious subjects which have been sort of hinted at in previous books. So trigger warnings for eating disorders. Charlie, it's been sort of hinted at in Volume 2 maybe that he doesn't have sort of a regular relationship with food, and that is explored a little bit more in here, and it's also mentioned about how he has self-harmed in the past as well. So yeah, and Nick's reaction to both of those things is just so grown up. Nick Nelson is an actual angel. He is just such a lovely person and so warm and understanding and so grown up. Like, these people are 15 and 16 and they're having much more serious relationships than I was having in my 20s. But yeah, this was lovely, lovely, lovely. And now I want to get on to the 3rd episode of Bridgerton. But first of all, I'm going to do a little bit of baking. So come with me to the kitchen and I'll show you what I'm baking. So, I do these things called Friday reading vlogs, which I'm sure some of you will be familiar with, but if you're here for Heartstopper or Bridgerton, then you may not be. But on a Friday, I have a lovely read and do a few bits, and I bake a cake from this book. Every Friday I'm working my way through. That's how many I've baked. And baked, baked cake. And the next one I'm in loaf tins at the moment. In fact, these are the last 2 loaf tins. Is marzipan, lemon and cardamom loaf. And I'm literally working from front to the back because I'm a good home cook. Like, I can follow a recipe well and things turn out very nice when I make them. But up until this year, my baking has not been all that great. But this book, The Sweet Roasting Tin, has helped so much with my baking skills and made me realise maybe what it was that I've been doing wrong in the past. And so far, they've been almost all bangers. Like, we've had a couple where I haven't particularly liked the flavours, but almost all bangers. The difference with this one is that I'm going to be using a mini loaf tin. This I have borrowed off of David's mum or sister. I can't remember who I borrowed it. Someone there. And I've been previously using loaf tins and then a loaf tin liner, which has been perfect. So this will be new. But I'm going to bake it now. Just to let you know, you need 170 grams of softened unsalted butter. Neither of these feel softened. 170 grams of caster sugar. 3 medium free-range eggs. 1 lemon zest and juice. 230 grams of self-raising flour. I've more in there because I don't think this is going to be enough. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. 4 cardamom pods seeds ground, which is what I've done in here. And then 100 grams of marzipan. So I'm going to be making 8. And that means I'll take 4 tonight. Me and Laura will have 1 tomorrow, and I'm going to have 1 for my lunch-ish when they're baked. So yeah, preheat the oven to 160. And let's get going, shall we? I'm going to listen to my audiobook while I'm doing this. The little cakes are in the oven. The batter tasted nice. It wasn't super cardamom-y. I think if I was to make it again, maybe I'd add another pod in. It says 4 cardamom pods, but I think cardamom pods. But I think maybe in future I might add 5. If I make them again, that is. We're on to the 3rd episode of Bridgerton, Forces of Nature. And I just saw a little headline when I was scrolling through Facebook while I was in the bath. That there is, Nicola Coughlan gets very naked in this series, so that will happen at some point. Yeah, so I'm excited to see Nicola naked and to get on with it, so I'm going to get on with it. Buzz, 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 little bee fly off. Oh, I'm going to be gutted when I get to the end of the next episode, because that has just really stepped up. So it's gone down a different route in that after she sort of like said, oh please will you kiss me, I thought it was going to go down the route of her then being very into him, but in fact the opposite's happened. He had a sexy dream about her the next night, and now things seem to be progressing for her with this Lord Debney, I think his name is, sort of like a very tall, blonde, Scandinavian looking chap, and Colin sort of looking at her at parties and stuff, and yeah, I don't know if I fully believe the chemistry between them, but I definitely am enjoying the yearn that's going on and the fact that it's switched. So yeah, so I imagine this episode, the 4th one's going to end on a good cliffhanger. But anyway, we're going to read volume 4 of Heartstopper first, which is unknown territory to me. I've seen the trailer for the 3rd series of Heartstopper, which I believe starts with this. I don't know what's going to happen with the rest of it. I'm sure somebody might know, because I've got volume 5 and then volume 6 is out later on this year. I think that's the last one. So yes, but I had a little flick through this and it looks like it's set at the seaside, but then they're in coats here. So I don't know if we're going to cover some other times. Oh, Charlie wants to say that he loves him. Oh, stop it. I love these boys. Such lovely boys. Such lovely boys. Cool, right, anyway. Oh, the cake. So they've all come out of the moulds okay. This one has come out the worst, but the rest of them will be transportable. But this is the stuff that's fallen out of there. But yeah, it tastes very nice. Very light. The trick is, I used to just stir the shit out of it, and I've learned that you do not want to do that. So that's why I'm not. Anyway, gonna read. Oh, I cried quite a lot when I was reading that. It was very sweet. Also, the author's note at the end says that volume 5's the last volume, so unless Alice changed her mind, yeah, it was lovely. It was really hard to read in parts because Charlie's mental health took a real dive, including an inpatient stay, and it was hard reading about that from Nick's point of view, and it was hard reading about that from Charlie's point of view. But it was also so nice to read about recovery and how that is possible, even when it seems really hopeless, which it does at some points. So yeah, it was really lovely, really, really lovely. I bet these are such a great help to young people. Like, I really, really bet they are. But yeah, I'm very excited about the TV series. And number 4 finished. I don't even know what time it is. My phone's not even here. It's on charge. Must be about 2 o'clock-ish. But yeah, only 1 episode of Bridgerton left. 1 volume of Heartstopper left. And then that's it. Lovely. Lovely. Right, let's do it. The last episode of Bridgerton that I can watch today, and then I think let's move this over so I can be fully comfy. Then I think, yeah, the second part, which will have the last 4 episodes of the season, will be available in June sometime. I've got a feeling it's towards the bloody end of June as well, so I've got a long time to wait, but aren't I current watching it now? On we go. Old Friends, this episode's called. Oh, it ended very well. It ended with a proposal from Colin to Penelope. And it was, yeah, what I was saying about, did I believe their chemistry? They had a very chemistry-fueled scene in a, what's that called? Like a carriage. Then there's a trailer. The next lot is out on the 13th of June. And the trailer sort of shows the announcement of their engagement, and then the focus for the last 4 episodes seems to be on the desire to find out who Lady Whistledown is, and maybe that closing in around Penelope and Eloise saying to her, if you don't tell him, I will tell him. So yeah, I hope it all turns out all right for him in the end. But yeah, 13th of June. Is that a Thursday? What day is that? Let's have a look. It's a Thursday. Yeah, so maybe I'll catch up on that when I finish work that day. Lovely, right, okay, so we are on to the final volume of Heartstopper. Volume 5. I hope they're all okay! And then when I get to the thing at the back, it will show whether or not that is the end of it. Shall I have a little look? Oh, okay, yeah. So there will be a volume 6. I haven't looked too deeply at it, but it says to give them a send-off in volume 6. But anyway, let's continue. Lovely. Let's continue. It's been such a lovely day. No tears in this one. So I was away. It was lovely. So it's focusing more on Nick and Charlie wanting to take their relationship to the next step. Sexually like, and it was just really reassuring, and I'm sure it doesn't happen for all sort of people of that age who are deciding what to, like, whether they want to take their relationship to the next step, but like none of those conversations were around when I was younger, and consent definitely wasn't a thing in terms of like it being talked about and the other person wanting to wait until the other person was ready. That was sort of seen like you just get on with it. You've been together this long and you just get on with it way. So it was lovely to be hearing those things, and I hope that really is how the sort of outlook is for people of that age. But yeah, that was really lovely. And then there's also some chat in there about universities and Nick's going to university. A bit I really liked was when Nick visits Kent Uni, and there's a picture of the library there, and it looks exactly like the library. That's the uni I went to. So it was really see if I can find it. So that was really nice. But then Charlie realises that maybe because he's planning on going to Kent Uni just so he can stay closer to Charlie, and whilst that's lovely. Like, he's got to remember that, there it is. Really does look like Kent Uni Library, this picture. I'm not even sure if you can see it. I'll hide my face, you can see it. And Elle and Tara chat to him about it, and they say, look, you're a people pleaser and you've got to do some things for yourself. You can't put your future at risk for a relationship you're in now, however much you are in love and however much Charlie loves you back. And it was just really like lovely to hear young people speaking so sensibly. So yeah, delighted there's a volume 6. Sad to not have it now, but what a day. It's been an absolute treat to be reading all of these lovely things and watching all of the lovely telly. It's been really, really nice. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed watching me. Enjoy them. Let me know if you've read the Heartstopper series, what you think. Let me know if you've done a day like this where you've just sat and read a particular thing, or sat and watched a particular thing. It's been lovely. I really, really loved it, and I'm so happy. So yeah, thanks very much, and I'll see you all again soon for another BookTube video. Goodbye.